The Hamas delegation is in Cairo this Friday for talks with Egyptian officials on a ceasefire proposition. The plan would see an end to the fighting in 3 stages and was recently put to both Hamas and the Islamic Jihad group. For more on this, we're joined by our Cairo correspondent, Eduard Cusin. Edward, remind us what exactly is in this proposal and tell us about some potential sticking points.
Yeah, so indeed, this week, reports came out that Egypt proposed a 3-stage plan towards a permanent ceasefire. The plan would start with temporary ceasefires that are renewable, during which aid could enter Gaza, and under which captives of Israel and Hamas would be swapped, and that temporary ceasefires would be renewable several times, leading up to a permanent ceasefire under which Israel would withdraw from the Gaza Strip. All Israeli captives would be released, and the Gaza Strip would be governed by a technocratic Palestinian government. Now, whether there are a few sticky points there. First, Israel has said that its aim of this war is to eradicate Hamas, and Israeli officials have said that the war would still continue for months, so that is not a permanent ceasefire. While on the other hand, Hamas officials have said that they are open to any proposals that include a permanent ceasefire. So Hamas says we are open for a permanent ceasefire, but Israel so far says we want to eradicate Hamas. So that's a problem there. On the other hand, the Egyptian proposal said a technocratic government would rule Hamas, so that assumes that it would not be would rule the Gaza Strip, so that assumes it would not be Hamas. Well, if Hamas would agree to relinquish power of the Gaza Strip, that is a difficult point. And now today, an Egyptian official said, no, all Palestinian factions have come together to form such a technocratic government, but the Palestinian Authority, who is in charge of the occupied West Bank, and Hamas, they have been talked for years about a unity government. That has been a very difficult process. So how a future Gaza would look like is still very difficult to see.
And what about Egypt's role in all this? What's at stake for Cairo?
Yeah, so Egypt has a clear, strong interest for a ceasefire. First of all, Egypt is very wary of Israeli plans of expelling, forcing Palestinians out of the Gaza Strip into Sinai. Israeli media, Israeli officials have suggested that this would be a solution for them to just basically expel. This would basically come down to ethnically cleanse the Gaza Strip of Palestinians into Egypt. That's something Egypt really doesn't want. They are very afraid that would cause instability in Egypt. They're very afraid that this displacement would be permanent. So indeed, Gaza would be emptied of Palestinians, and don't want to cooperate with this. So in a way to prevent this from happening, a ceasefire is needed. Another big interest for Egypt is the recent Houthi attacks. We have seen in the last weeks the Houthi rebels on Yemen attacking ships passing through the Red Sea towards or from the Suez Canal. That has harmed traffic through the Suez Canal in Egypt. Ships have been rerouting, not using the Suez Canal, and the Suez Canal is a very important source of foreign currency for Egypt. So that has also harmed Egypt. So Egypt has a clear interest to get a ceasefire done.